Hey guys, Eric here with Eric and Nikki. And today we are going to talk to you about why we don't put our own cash in deals when we don't have to. As always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell your friends about us. The biggest thing that we have found getting into real estate investing without any money is that you have to find creative ways to scale. Number one is you want to make sure when you're buying deals, you know where you're getting the closing costs, down payments, and holding cost. A lot of people don't think about those things. Closing cost is usually about 1%. Holding cost could be anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 if you're using a hard money loan. If you're using a bank loan, it could be less, but you still have to equate for the closing cost on there. And then any other fees associated that you would have to pay out of pocket. That ends up being about 3 to 5% per deal that you have to use to bring to the table. If you have a hard money lender that requires 10% down, then you have even more to bring to the table. With that being said, how do we get away with not putting any money in deals? People go, well, how are you doing deals if you're not putting your own money? Well, there's a couple of different ways. The first way that you can do it without putting no money in the deal is to borrow. You can find a hard money lender that does 100%. Normally those hard money lenders that do 100% of rehab and acquisitions are much higher in the interest rate. So whereas a normal lender may be 1 to 2 points and 10 to 12%, that 100% lender may be 3 points and 15 to 16%, possibly even 4 points. You really got to determine, is that deal worth putting that big of an interest payment on it monthly? That's the first way. The second way, which we have done multiple times, is what we call gap funding. And gap funding is where you get a first loan with whomever, hard money, bank money, and then you get what's called a gap funder. The gap funder may be a relative, it may be an acquaintance, it may be whoever you want it to be, but it's somebody that trusts you and you can show them, hey, this is a real estate transaction. So that gap funding may be between 10 and upwards of 50,000 or more, depending on the size of the deal. You take that gap funding and that's how you fund the 10% and the closing costs. Once that gap funding is secured, then you have your rehab funds and your down payment and your closing cost all ready to go. So it makes it a lot easier to get the deal done. The third and final way, which we are continuing to do, is that you raise what's called private funds, or OPM, which is other people's money. OPM is the number one way to get a great rate and get none of your own money in the deal. OPM usually comes with trust or reputation. Sometimes both, sometimes one or the other. If you're new, you're not going to have the reputation in the market, but you could have a couple of people that trust you from other things. And if you have the reputation, you don't always have to have the trust of the individual because they see the deal flow that you have or the consistency in what you're returning other deals. With me, I've given plenty of returns, right? So I use my guys that have already given returns to vouch for me on a new lender. And it works really, really well. So we've actually raised a lender on Instagram before. You know, somebody who didn't know us at all, but saw what we were doing, and they ended up investing about 40 grand with us and made a phenomenal return, and we did a great deal. Those are your main three ways: increased hard money cost, gap funding, or completely other people's money, OPM. And that other people's money, back to that one real quick, is about 10 to 12%. But Most of the time, the OPM, you're not making monthly payments like you would with hard money. You usually can get all the funds up front, right? Where the hard money you draw from. So it just makes it an easier process. Once you get to a certain level, raising money is going to be very, very important for your business, and increasing your deal flow is going to come from how many deals you can keep. Now, let's take it the other direction. So I showed you the 3 ways to put your own money in. A lot of people have come to me and said, well, if you're not putting your own money in the deals, I don't want to be in the deal. Great, find somebody who is. Or if you're, I've got a ton of cash, why wouldn't I take my cash and put that into these deals and, do it that way? Well, the biggest reason why you want to keep your cash yours is because you want to grow a business. I don't want to do this to flip one house. I don't want to do this to build one house. I want to grow a business. To grow a business, you have to have what's called operating capital. And operating capital is what you're going to use to pay your employees and buy material and put up earnest money, different things like that. Whereas if you have all of your money tied up in all these different deals, your operating becomes exceptionally small and it creates a really hard opportunity to grow. That is why I highly recommend one of those 3 options and keep your cash your cash. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching. And if you don't mind, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That way you can see all of our cool and awesome videos coming down the line.